Have you ever looked at a massive flock of birds or a school of fish and just wondered, how do they do that? Today, we're diving into that very question. We're talking about collective intelligence, how thousands of individuals can move and act like a single brilliant mind. It's one of nature's most incredible tricks.
I mean, really think about it for a second. When you see a swirling murmuration of starlings, it's like this beautiful coordinated dance in the sky. But there's no choreographer, right? No leader shouting orders. So how does it happen? How do they achieve that perfect synchronization? Well, that's the puzzle we're going to try and solve today.
All right, so to figure out the how, we've got to get a handle on the what first. So what do we actually mean when we say collective intelligence?
At its heart, it's actually a pretty simple idea. A group is acting intelligently when being a part of that group gives every single member a better chance of surviving or succeeding than if they were flying solo. It's not some permanent superpower, It's a temporary state that happens when the conditions are just right.
And this is the really crucial part. This whole state is incredibly fragile. The very same rules that create this amazing coordinated brilliance in one moment can lead to total disaster in the next. It's like walking a tightrope between a smart swarm and a dumb mob.
So, what's the magic ingredient? What separates a group that's truly intelligent from, just a random crowd of things bumping into each other? It all comes down to one key thing: purpose.
Here's a great way to think about it. Picture a bunch of magnets scattered on a table. If you nudge one, a little wave of motion ripples through the others, right? Information is definitely moving through that system. But is it intelligent? Now, compare that to a huge school of fish. What's the fundamental difference?
The difference is function. It's all about the why. The magnets, they're just reacting to physics. But the fish, their amazing coordinated swimming, serves a vital purpose. It confuses predators, it protects the individuals in the middle, and it boosts the survival odds for everyone. That function, that purpose, is the true sign of collective intelligence.
Okay, so we've got groups with a purpose. But that still leaves the big question: how does this complex group-level strategy just happen? How does it emerge from thousands of individual choices? The answer is actually way simpler and frankly way cooler than you might think.
Get this, there is no grand strategy. No single bird is thinking, oh, I should move this way to make a beautiful swirling pattern. Not at all. Instead, every single individual is just following a few incredibly basic rules based on what's happening right around them. It all boils down to these three simple drives. 1. Try to go the same way as your neighbors. 2. Try to stay near your neighbors. And 3. Don't get so close that you crash into them. That's it. When every single individual follows these simple local rules, this complex, intelligent, group-level behavior just emerges, all on its own. It's incredible.
And what's wild is that you see these basic principles everywhere. It's in hyenas that team up just long enough to take down big prey. You even see it in us, like ice fishers, who naturally tend to gather where they see other people having success. It's the same fundamental dynamic. Simple individual choices leading to a smart group outcome.
So these systems are super elegant and efficient. But what happens when they break? It turns out the system's greatest strengths are also the source of its biggest weaknesses.
Check out this number. Research suggests it can take as few as 10% of informed individuals to steer the entire group. That's it. This is amazing for quickly acting on good information. It makes the whole group super responsive.
But here's the flip side. That incredible efficiency becomes a massive vulnerability. What happens if that influential minority has bad information? Or worse, what if they're actively trying to cause harm? Well, they can lead the entire, unsuspecting group straight off a cliff.
So you've got all these potential points of failure. The system can be hijacked by bad actors. It can get trapped in an echo chamber where only bad information gets passed around. The rules that worked perfectly yesterday could become disastrous today if the environment changes. Heck, even one malfunctioning robot can send a whole robotic swarm into chaos.
So if you can't exactly sit down and interview an ant or a fish, how in the world do scientists figure out these hidden rules? Well, they've come up with a really powerful tool to peek inside the hive mind.
They build computer models, they create thousands of little virtual agents, give them a few simple rules, and then they press play. The goal isn't to build a perfect copy of reality. Instead, they're looking for the simplest possible set of rules, the minimal mechanisms that can create the same kinds of behaviors we see out in the real world.
I absolutely love this metaphor. A simulation is like a map.
You don't want a map that shows every single blade of grass and pebble, right? It would be useless. You want a map that simplifies reality, showing you just the important stuff you need to get where you're going. And that's exactly what a good simulation does for collective intelligence.
And that, of course, brings us to the big final question for all of us. Right now, we are all part of these huge digital collectives, social media, online forums, markets. We're all following simple rules. We like, we share, we follow. So as we build these massive global human swarms, are we learning the lessons from nature? Are we designing for robust, smart collective intelligence? Or are we accidentally building fragile systems that are constantly on the verge of collective stupidity? That's something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.